Welcome to the September 10th OpenZFS production user call. We have Andrew, Alexander, Mark, Stu, and myself, Michael, so far. Inspired by Tuesday's jail call, we may want to start adding other languages we are comfortable with to our names to make others more comfortable. It's a long story, but it was fun to hear like Asia and the East and Eastern Europe and various places all in the same call, and it was great. The OpenZFS User and Developer Summit is rapidly approaching. Please book your travel and accommodations. I'm doing plenty of housekeeping stuff behind the scenes, but it's all moving along beautifully. Garrett Woolman will be there, who was a bit of a star last year because many of us had heard the name for years and never met him in person. So we're so happy he's there. Question for all of you and everyone listening. Should the OpenZFS native encryption have a minimum password length? I ask because I found what's arguably a bug in FreeBSD's add user, which proudly says, hey, you can do an encrypted home data set. But then if you do not put in a 8-character or more password, it fails and fails the process rather than asking again. But that does raise this fundamental question. I mean, we're Unix people. Should we have a seatbelt like that or not? And if we do have that seatbelt, should it also check for complexity and strength, as they say, et cetera, et cetera? Go.
You want it tied into PAM at that point?
The point's exactly like that. Yeah. So, should it be? Does PAM have built-in?
That's where those type of restrictions are going to be placed. So, if you say that encryption is going to be tied to PAM, then you just pass through and let it control it versus
do what PAM does. Right?
Yeah.
Great. That's a great comment. Others?
And single point of configuration.
Bingo.
I don't like seatbelts.
I don't like helmets either, so crash hard, crash fast.
And PAM is the right way to go if you're going to do that.
Agree.
That's remarkably concise, remarkably informed, and not what I considered, and that could be just about perfect. It's like, let PAM do what it does best, and it's just not OpenZFS's job. And that gets to the broader theme of, do we have a seatbelt for single disk pools, etc.? But that's such a ridiculously long, slippery slope that, well, yeah, where do you start? Where do you end? Other thoughts, or is it as simple as that? If this group thinks rely on PAM, I will not disagree in any way.
I wouldn't make it any more complex.
Beautiful. Do we know if PAM has some popular password complexity contraptions that one can just drop in and say, oh, here's a super aggressive one and here's a gentle one, et cetera, et cetera?
Oh, yeah.
Great.
Links on me, but yeah, they're out there. Really
Note, PAM password plugins. Okay, that's everything I could have hoped for that topic. Thank you. I may have just found what I was looking for, a tool that can strip comments out of C code. I found an elusive one that's hard to find because of the naming. Google really doesn't like this name. I haven't tried other search engines, but I did find the author, then found the tool, and there's one called The Comment. And I am hoping it is super consistent for letting you truly cleanly strip out comments from code. I'll hopefully have more news on why I care about that, but there's a link to it. It builds on FreeBSD, but not Mac OS. Just saying. So here is a topic that hopefully you also have some insights on. The classic advice in, let's just say, FreeNAS, TrueNAS territory is like, there be dragons if you nest data sets in SMB and NFS because of recycling of inode numbers, typically starting at 1 and working their way up. And I had a situation where it worked until it didn't, and one data set worked and the other didn't, and stuff. So having heard that kind of warning for a decade now, what is the correct solution? And my gut feeling thought was, well, what if those inodes could be pooled between data sets? Yes, you run the risk of exhausting them, but that's a whole different scaling matter. And I ran it by Rob Norris, Illustrious contributor. And he's like, well, what is truly the underlying problem? What is it that NFSD or SMBD does that chokes on that? I mean, can we detrace it? Can we see the exact smoking gun of what the problem is before we attempt to solve the problem? Has anyone, first off, encountered this where nested data sets just work until they don't? And if you haven't experienced it, I'm
Well,
jealous.
take one step back.
Yes,
Define
please.
what you mean by nested.
So you have data, my files data set under a pool is shared out under SMBD, Samba daemon, and then you put another data set under it and hope that it just shows up as a folder to other users so that the SMB server only sees one top directory, but child directories are perhaps countless different data sets, which behind the scenes all are different file systems, meaning they have often, I believe it's always recycled inode numbers such that it's like, hey, I'm seeing this for the first time. I'm seeing this for the first time, and it confuses NFS and SMBD and possibly other serving protocols and daemons.
If it's the same data set, you won't have the collision.
One single one, no problem. If you have a 1-to-1 ratio between a Samba share and a data set, hallelujah, everything's great. If you start putting, say, accounting under that data set as a separate data set, your mileage will vary.
Yeah. So first layer, so pool to first layer data set is fine.
Yes.
It's when you get second, third, 78th data set under the first one.
Yes.
If the share is at the first one.
Yes. That is my pool slash my share. Okay, so it's a uh, uh, mount point equals slash share. So super simple. Child data sets, my pool slash my share slash accounting. And let's just say and stew and cats can and probably will. So that's the crux of it. Maybe someone listening
You,
knows exactly the answer. Great. If you've got some experiences, great. But I just want that out there because it's like
I,
we shouldn't
I don't know.
burn for a decade on this. Go ahead.
I don't know about that, but you might look and see if there's differences in how CIFS on the Solaris side handles things, because that's like normal.
That's
I mean,
so that's a routine behavior,
it-
but you can do that safely without losing sleep
doing that
or
safely seems
having
to work on the
directories
CIFS
disappear.
side.
Okay. Uh,
That's how I've been
so,
running my file system for a couple of years now on OmniOS.
uh, fantastic. I generally things work better over in OmniOS, the Luma's land.
But can you describe what exactly? I guess I missed the first part of the exact. What's the issue? I mean, I understand there's nested data sets and different pairing mechanisms that it, the behavior
Yeah,
exhibits the issue, but what's the issue itself?
the mount point, I guess is the correct term, would simply just vanish. It's like, oh, or
Uh,
it'll see the directory, but the contents just aren't there because the at the POSIX level on up, the operating system is like, oh, wait, I know that inode number. No, that can't possibly be there. And for the most part, just invisible contents.
right, get the validator, so it just acts like it's gone. Right.
Yeah, and NFS definitely will be unhappy. So to more accurately, in the visible contents in the child mount points. And if it's not obvious, I'm not personally satisfied with just don't do that because ZFS is generally the smartest component in the stack. Let's see if we can make it slightly more smart to
Don't do
handle
that is
this.
not an acceptable
Yeah, it's like cranky. It's
response,
like, come
because
on.
that's an absolutely sane thing to do.
We don't like no. And for me, it was very, very frustrating that one data set that's been working for months just was working perfectly, continued to. So I said, oh, I'll make a second one with different data right next to it, and nothing but trouble. And then it occurred to me, oh, right, it's probably this. So anyway, make that cats and dogs for clarity. Anyway, there it is on the radar. Let's maybe for the summit think about, oh, wait. Well, first off, per Rob's comments, which I will not read back here, but they're in the doc where he's like, okay, so, what's actually happening? What is it that, allows for the blunt instrument POSIX layer have trouble with the somewhat implicitly blunt instrument file systems provided by ZFS that are probably just fine behind the scenes, but presented to the user, they are unique file systems, which is a blessing and a curse. I mean, if you want scalability, having the maximum number of potential inodes through different data sets is great. Having it tip over your tiny office share is not so good. So there you
And
have it.
so just, merge Samba and NFS v5 and we'll be happy.
Perfecto.
Have one
What are
application
those
to
licenses?
control it all.
One sharing protocol for them, all of them. Wait, that you mean AFS or something? Okay.
We just moved back to CIFS.
1.0 NT level domains, you got it.
Yep. Done.
3-letter passwords.
Don't have to worry about Windows 10 or 11, and it's all good.
Bingo. One of which gets deprecated like next month. I will not talk about this now. There's a yawn topic. I'm trying to get my FreeBSD 15 PRs, my bug reports in, and we'd like to get some kind of libzfs in there, which may be a total of 3 files. I'll talk to him about it. Moving on, here's an article about ZFS performance in my home lab. I could not tell how serious or not serious it is, so let's maybe just as a group say, hey, there it is. Are they being scientific or sloppy? I couldn't tell you. I'm not judging. I'm not assuming, but let's take a peek. But it's recent, and I was a little thrown with RS620, although you can do some very good things with that. That is a decade-old capitalization of Beehive with the camel case, the cruel camel case. But they, I believe, get into FIO. So here's an article. I'll drop it in chat just because you may find it useful. There, it's on the radar. Another one crossed my desk, which is this ZFS scaling from less than a month ago. I confess I'm not familiar with tunberry.org, but let's take a peek. Come on, little computer. And notice my tabs are like a third what they were, but still I'm having performance issues, but such is life. Oh, comma. Oh, subscriptions. Oh, lost me right there. Yes, this was like, hey, why is, I believe, our build system slowing down? This is interesting. Kstat miss is excellent. Fragmentation. Note that fragmentation is a kind of a hand wavy calculation, so don't lose too much sleep over it. Sync command. Red flag number 1, sync disabled. Yeah, there might be disposable data to worry about, but there it is. Async read mat, Primary cache metadata, ATOM off. That's pretty much a default in FreeBSD now for what it's worth. Da on Mac OS. Okay. So I'm glad they're crossing OSs. I'm glad they've heard of these parameters. I'll drop that in chat for your reading pleasure. And there, I've shared it. And Mark, I know you had questions on sync tools. Was there another topic to slip in there? Mark on replication tools.
The topic was more or less I'm trying to build the Omnios version of Sylph, and I'm trying to figure out if it's better to try to support one really well or try to support all the tools and have easier choice for the replication tools.
Got it. So per, I believe the jail or Beehive call, I gave the Sylph developer a quick crash course on Zelta because in the course of all this nested data set, I know heck, I also spent the week with 2 weeks with Zelta separate, helping a company separate into two companies and split data that's been commingled for like 20 years. So it gave me a chance to further hone my muscle memory on it and the fact that uh, Daniel is an active call participant, and I believe these calls are to thank for providing it. Let me look for that right now. Zelta.io. Have you spent a moment with Zelta?
I had looked at the install instructions because there wasn't, I can't just like package install Zilta. So I went to look at the install instructions
Yes.
from OS. And I
Yes.
was like, okay, I got to build this. So in order for my tool, I can't just have it check for package. It's got to check for the binary, and the binary's got a version and et cetera, et cetera.
It's
So that's why I looked into other things as well.
huh.
And eREPL does have a package. I don't know
Yeah.
if that's the snap. I don't know how to say it. It starts with the SnapSend. I don't know if it has a package or not, but it is part of but made by some of the OmniOS developers. So it might
Okay.
be pretty closely aligned.
Quick point.
So
It's all awk code such that when it says binaries, they might not be anything that needs building. Just saying.
I mean, a path to where it normally installs in the system. So Etsy
Okay.
bin, user
Yep.
Zelda scripts, something.
Sure. But uh remind me to ask to tell you about the other little surprise there. So number one, here's that syntax. I found I have to do the original send because yeah, the way Zelta lets you use the Zelta command, but I've been using it since like before the cool kids started using it. So I use zmatch and zpull,
Mhm.
IVP. I am very happy with that because it's basically more or less the user syntax without uh, the traditional ZFS command syntax without all the junk you have to remember, like dash capital I and the source and destination. So match will give you a lovely summary on just where you stand, and then I'm using this brief. Oh, yep, here's one to add to it. Dash D1 for depth one, so it doesn't start nesting. Back to the whole nesting topic. I am very, very happy with it. It is awk based, so it runs on, say, NetBSD, Mac OS, Illumos, Unix. Insert Unix here, which is great. One specific data set. Uh, one, yeah, it's lovely. So Rod described it as the best tool he's used in 40 years for backup. So I'll just kind of leave it at that until proven otherwise. Uh, Z pull, I'll say either one dash D1. So G, it's like the fine syntax, depth one.
Mhm.
Um, I was annoyed that G, it's doing all these like virtual machine backups along with Office data. Didn't need that, added D1. Everything was suddenly, instantly perfect. So there's my take on that. But quick question for you. Just how good a Rust and Go platform is Illumos in 2025?
I'm not
Uh,
sure about Rust, but I know that they do have the Go packages. I can check the package repository and see what version it
okay,
is right now.
here is precisely why. Um, let's bring open this little tool here. Lightning CSS, which naturally I'd never heard of, but
Yeah, I
it's
believe
quick, and that's what Silva is using. And it seems that on ARM64, no worky. But hey, not that your ARM64 is a concern of yours, but it very much raised that sort of class cross OS, cross platform question. Go ahead, Andrew.
I believe Go is pretty well supported.
It is a Go 1.24. I don't know what the latest version of Go is.
Okay, let's bring that up. And this was to the ticket where it's like, oh, I tried building it on ARM64, and it's like, yeah, no, don't do that. I'm like, come on,
The
please.
latest source code from the Go dev site is 1.25. So they're one um, minor release down.
Um, so this tool may have specifically been in Rust just to go along with Go to maybe even some Zig, just to have all the cool new languages supported. But
Rust is 1.88.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
okay. Did they give a version?
The latest version for the website is 1.9, or sorry, yeah, latest stable is 1.89. So they're also one minor release down.
Okay.
And
Rust.
this is at least the OmniOS. I don't know about Illumos as a whole. I'm sure they're probably even more slightly up.
1189, did you say?
189 is the latest, but what we have is 188.
Okay. Did I get that decimal point correct?
Yes.
Okay. Um, so just not necessarily a problem, but a heads up. So the Silva dependencies will be important for supporting Silva, to state the
Mhm.
obvious. Um, Hazam has been a delight to work with. There will be updates at BeehiveCon. Uh, I I I love the fact that it is exercising so many components that if that's the shortest path to people really getting their feet wet with be it FreeBSD or Lumos, then fine. Works for me. Um, so I'm just going to make this all kind of smaller and textier. So gosh, the German, uh, zREPL, I believe. Is that the one in Go, perhaps? I
I'm,
thought it was very site-to-site config file oriented, which was off-putting to me. Not that I'm a great example.
oh, what's the other model?
So Zelta will support both. It'll do just some commands I throw in a script or its own config file. So there's that.
Ah,
Um,
ah, CLI versus config file.
yes, bingo, which I'd prefer be kind of fluid if possible. There was always ZXfer, and wow, the fact that it like has rsync code in it, etc., was a lot. I tried to make sense of it and work with Alan Jude to like clean it up and modernize it, but it was like, yeah, no, oh my gosh, life's too short. I wish it was like broken into at least modules such
Yep,
that rsync is separate from the ZFS parts.
I believe
Mm.
zREPL is in Go as well.
That sounds right. Uh, so so what are your other candidates?
So Zapson sends, let me pull it up.
Oh,
So,
probably the
like,
Jim Filter stuff.
Edgar, that's his handle here. Let me see if his profile's name. Tobias Edgar. I think I'm pronouncing that right. It's a Swiss name, so I might be pronouncing that.
Okay, and what's the tool?
Zapsned send puts an Z in the front of them, but it's one of the persons that makes some of it.
Okay,
The link is in chat here.
cool. Yeah.
Um, it's
Oh,
a tool to
who's
create
it?
to create snapshots and send them to various backup locations. The ZFS tool snapshots. It's stored as the properties in ZFS file system itself, so it's not a config file. Some domain specific handling. I hadn't
Uh,
looked into Satchin too much, but I wasn't quite sure. But there's uh, It was instructions in some of them by the OmniOS community, so that's why I was one of the ones I had thought about.
Are you familiar with Jim Salter's syncoid, sanoid, and other oids?
I remember that being brought up in a previous meeting.
Okay.
I did not look much into it, but I am writing it down again.
Okay. User properties on paper are absolutely fantastic, but when folks found that, hey, we could throw our entire VM config in them, they discovered that whenever you write to them, it is an administrative operation. So if you have a massive system with lots of users and you want to just update the, I don't know, IP of a VM that happens to be in a property, it suddenly tells the entire pool to say, whoa, everyone hold tight. We're going to commit everything that needs to be committed at once, thanks to this one little housekeeping change. So heads up, don't run into that.
And that was on Syncoid, you said?
Baptiste gave an example at OVH where that happened to them. What was that, Mark?
And that was on Syncoid, you said?
You said, I think, Znend is using properties.
Yes, that's
Okay.
what it looks like.
So whenever someone's using
Now I understand what you're
properties, just
saying.
be clear of where that could be an issue. Hopefully it's not an issue, but just heads up, don't repeat those mistakes because it is so tempting to say, wow, properties are awesome, which they are, but then just sit there and just blast countless things into user properties thinking it's like a SQL-like database, which it's not.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay. Other topics, questions, concerns, funny jokes.
And Tobias is a very good source as a rule.
Is Tobias doing other projects?
Oh, yes.
Let's take a peek.
Uh, Tobias is one of the main people at Bodecker Partner AG. So things like smoke ping, um, he's got a lot of things that he's involved with.
Tobias. Oh, there we go. Okay, cool.
Smoke ping, RRD tool, MRTG.
Oh, okay. Yeah, MRTG certainly comes to mind.
Yeah.
Hello, Tobias's iPhone. Smoke ping. MRTG. Sweet. Busy boy. Oh, only 199 repositories. Goodness. Okay, so we could have a separate Tobias call. Callbackery. Automate.
I mean, even just going through the ones where he is where it's not a fork is pretty impressive on his stuff.
Awesome. So I'm seeing Mac OS, I'm seeing OmniOS, I'm seeing all sorts of things. Web integrations, OmniOS Community Edition. Okay, that's the unique license for OmniOS things, but fascinating. LaTeX, yeah, okay.
Yeah, he's been around and been in open source for a good chunk of time.
Love it.
So, Andrew, I guess I do kind of value your opinion here. Would you continue using zREPL or Zelta in different situations, or have you just not really looked at Zelta because we already have a pretty good solution with zREPL?
I mean, the guy who's been doing Zelta is a regular here, and I have nothing negative to say about it. But for our needs, we've already got zREPL in place, so it's a little there's inertia there.
Gotcha. Okay, understood. Makes it clear. Thank you.
One thing about Zelta, and he has a great BSD talk. Daniel is quite firm that if you are forced to destroy destination snapshots to allow to catch up on new ones, you're doing it wrong. So it goes to great lengths to not destroy to create. That's sort of a sign of failure that you're having to like force stuff over. So anyway, it's been a delight to discussed features with him. He and Rod went back and forth for weeks, and he rolled into yesterday's call, but not today's call, or maybe he'll roll in an hour.
Is
Anyway,
that strategy, does it have a specific name to it versus the other strategy of where you have the rolling snapshots like that?
um, more that's a housekeeping point that if you think that you have to destroy, then you are doing it wrong. So let me pop into the page there. Zelta.space. Oops. Come on. It's a
Basically, you should only
philosophical
have to.
thing. Go ahead, Andrew.
Basically, you should only have to do destroys as a matter of your retention policy.
Nicely
If you're
put.
doing it,
Yes, that
if you're
is the
doing it for
time to
any other
destroy.
reason, that's a problem.
Bingo. Yes.
If you're cleaning up because the retention policy didn't clean it up or didn't get enough. Yeah, okay, I understand. Got it.
Right. If you destroy your monthly ones every 6 months, whatever, great. But you shouldn't have to create your yesterday's or this hour's snapshots. Oops, delete a few to add a few. It's like, no, nope, 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 doing it wrong. Gosh, my use of it predates all this, so I'm due for a reread of this. But here's the site. I'll drop it in chat. He's been, as he put it, as a New Yorker, you either go big or go home. So he's really put his heart into it.
Yeah, that's why
Here are
I mean, I
configuration
read,
examples and .conf for like system to system, rather than me just stepping through to a backup and whatever and just making sure they're absolutely up to date. Well, that's one approach. Here's another one. You were saying. Next
yep,
page.
I was just saying I got like through like 5 or 6 pages and then I was like, okay, this is enough information for tonight. I got to go rest.
Mhm.
So yeah, I did read through some of it. I might have missed that specific line if he said that's somewhere in one of these pages. So
No worries. Oh, your content here. Oops. Quick start. Cool. I confess I was so early to the game I missed much of this, and I'm due for a revisit. If there's a chance I'll be on tomorrow's call. Nope, this is Beehive. Oh, what the heck day is it? It's Wednesday. It's OpenZFS. So he might be on tomorrow's call. Great time to ask him questions. Off you go. There's the Venn diagram of all these the trifecta is just kind of ridiculous. I love it. Okay, so take a peek. That's where my heart is until further notice. I'll leave it at that. Other ideas, questions, topics, revisited topics. Should we go through the summit topics, or do we all have plenty to chew on? And I'm doing my part, but y'all are welcome to work on your parts. Actually, let's do a quick review. To the top.
I'm
If
still interested in
yes,
seeing if we can come up with a standardized set of tests that we
the
want to
test.
push
Okay.
through.
Uh,
I know I keep harping on that, but
hey, so that said, do you and your colleague Mark have a set of tools that are your best to date? They need not be perfect. They probably aren't perfect, but they're what you use. And they be something for some peer review to get going?
for Windows performance, we've been using Crystal Disk Mark and CPU Bench. Just that seems pretty standard there. That's for VM testing, not really disk testing. Um, I've ran on inside Linux VMs to stress test disks, not to do the performance, but to stress test them, the stress tool. That's in Linux. And I think that we had been given some commands and we had kind of played around with let's see, some file IO commands to
Mhm.
actually do benchmarking. I can't remember what the tool was, but it was a command line for Linux and on US. Not like it was. I've already pushed that information out of my head because I've done
Yeah,
other
no worries.
projects
Like
since.
IOZone, FIO are the
Well,
popular
IOZone
ones.
is good and bad on newer versions on iOS. You're able to use some of the async and direct flags. On older versions on iOS, you can't.
Hmm.
And I otherwise IOZone, while it does cross build and run on every OS, basically, I don't know if its performance is apples to apples. It just feels like it's there. I don't know. It just feels different.
Okay. Could you
But
re-rattle off some of those tools like Windows as Crystal Disk Mark? Is that accurate?
yeah,
Mark?
Crystal Disk Mark,
And the other, like,
CPU-Z,
okay.
uh, and then IOZone is also on Windows. It's
Oh,
cross-platform.
it is. Okay.
I made a tool to
Um,
actually visualize the Excel spreadsheet that you can export out so you can see like they have on their homepage like a graph. I wanted the ability to use that graph to see that graph. So I made some Python scripts. So that's somewhere in one of my repositories.
are they portable?
Uh, the Excel spreadsheets, yeah. So it's just a Python script run across the Excel spreadsheet.
You have a link handy? Getting to the point.
I wasn't expected. I might have it handy. Yeah.
Rule number one, have your links handy. I'm not beating up on you. Just it's always helpful because there's so much good information exchange.
You can always just edit it into the document later.
Yep.
I found it. It
Cool.
was 4 years ago that I made this, so it's probably out of date, but it did work at the time.
For the so
I also usually don't have the link handy until after someone asks me.
I'm
oh
lucky I had it in my GitHub repository and it was easy. So
oh
yeah,
you were quick about it. You were
yeah.
faster than I could finish the sentence. So that's perfect. That's about as good as it gets. So
Well,
well
the
played.
problem is if it's on a local drive on my NFS share, not in a public repository, because I'm still guilty about not
Ah,
putting everything online.
has a. I'll lose some has's here.
This is written pre-AI, so this was hard work put into this.
You mean it's more potentially accurate than me trying to do some code analysis
It's
with
not verbose, I'll put it that
AI,
way,
but
as
yeah.
compared to what AI is so verbose. Never try. I don't want you to add comments everywhere. I don't want you to add that function. Just stop adding extra stuff. Just
Mhm.
do what I ask.
Oh, does it depend on some like graphing library or something fancy?
Wait, you don't want an AI side panel?
No,
Oh,
not right now. I mean, it's good for some things, but it is verbose is the problem. But that's another topic. But yeah, this is. I think that I had to include some other libraries as well. What's the tool? MATLAB is what I was
oh,
using.
okay, cool.
Or did I change it to Plotly and something else? It might have been. No, I changed it to. I was using MATLAB originally, but then I changed it to Plotly.
Cool. Okay.
MATLAB came from my college days, and that's how I knew that from
That's cool.
college
Yeah, of
classes. And
course.
so I was just like, I tried that first and I know it, but then Plotly was like, it's so much better.
Add your $2,000 license for MATLAB here, and off you go. Um,
And this is
do
Apache though,
you
so this code's just
have
gonna be.
a vaguely public cache of scripts for those? Be it, I know iozone-a does something, but file is like a
The
lifestyle, which is great, but
I think
somewhere
the
between.
IOGraph command gives you help whenever you run the. So if you install IOGraph and you have IOZone installed on the machine and it can find IOZone, if you do IO like Python IOGraph, it'll in -H it'll give you the help. Let me see if I can just find the thing.
And IOGraph is tied to iozone?
Yes.
Goodness, did that exist last time I looked at iozone? Sweet.
Now IOZone's not tied to IOGraph because that's not.
Okay.
Um,
Is it safe to say people like pretty pictures?
yes, I mean I can show you what
I like pretty
network.
pictures.
There
That
you
network
go.
graph. Never showed you the demo of ZoneWeaver, that network graph. I've worked on that a little bit more, so that's a little bit more impressive.
Okay.
But I like pretty
Ah,
pictures.
has anyone worked with the SNIA PTSSSS, whatever the solid state storage performance test suite? It's a whole bunch of S's and P's. That's, I'll remind myself, MD at SNIA. Uh, SSS, oh gosh, the name is eluding me. SSS, SSSS. Okay, that'll remind me. Okay, other votes. We've got a vote for that, and Eva and I have been meeting before the calls to go through some of our workload replay, which I consider the holy grail on that. If you want to build a system to pretend like it's ftp.cd-rom.com from like 1996. Well, here's the workload. So we'll get to that. Documentation, more documentation, hardware acceleration, other prominent topics in that you're dominating the call at the moment in beautiful ways. And
I got
Stu,
nothing.
go ahead.
I said I got nothing.
Cool.
No, I'm
And
good.
Stu, anything else on network diagnostics? Uh, 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 I still think life of a packet might be useful. I've been tinkering a bunch with, say, WireGuard on a certain line of routers. And oh, by the way, as of Sunday, I've got the Wi-Fi and then by extension, wired as needed networking up at the venue for the summit, and it's pulling 600 down, 300 up, which is like, okay, that's an improvement.
That's fast. Good job.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It was a whole bunch of little things had to happen to make that one thing happen. And someday I'll have to put up signs that say the password to it, to the Wi-Fi.
So what you're saying
Modem.
is I don't have to have my Starlink and my RV linking back for the uploads anymore.
Yeah, during a talk. Yes, correct. Uh, we could have a redundant array of Starlinks, perhaps, pooled inodes. This needs a phrase, but that's a topic from today, so that gets a little bump there. Uh, yeah, no, this will be good. There's plenty going on. I did receive the Blu-rays for a Tank Dozer Trinity reunion if we want to do that after hours. Hopefully you know what that refers to. Um, there is a Matt Aaron's. Actually, let's promote this. There's a Clara and Matt Aaron's webinar coming up on, oh gosh, ZFS community site maybe. Let's see what it's called. Clara. Has anyone bumped into this? Do Clara systems. Okay. I'll take that as a note. I know, but no problem. Developers, do they put the webinars on their front page? Maybe not. Yep, sorry for not grabbing that link prior to it. See, Mark beat me right there.
What do they do?
You beat me to having a link ready the moment I mentioned it. Ah, yes, do tools. Thank you. ZFS Basecamp launch. That's a thing. Let me get the link. Let me drop Stu's link in here while I'm multitasking. My page is slowly loading. Oh, no. That was not what I wanted. Come on. Did I undo the right thing? Oh, it's going nuts. Redo. Bad computer. Bad computer. I know. Okay, I think I left off there. Jumping down to today. Thank you. See votes above. I'll add you here, Stu, just so that we have that. And it is the Basecamp launch live webinar. View now, which sounds a bit wrong in that it's a future webinar. Let's see. Here is the link in chat. I'll put it in the doc. Thank you all for your links. Thursday, September 18th. Let's open that bad boy up. Go behind the scenes with ZFS Legends. This exclusive panel brings together top contributors and practitioners from across the community, joined by ZFS co-founder Matt Ahrens, trace ZFS from its roots, but that doesn't explain what the Basecamp is. Okay. Alexander Moat and Alan Summers. Okay, cool. Hmm. So anyway, link is there. I could bring that open for all of us. Come on. I need a computer that can handle multitasking, because Zoom recording and Zoom presenting and all the things at once is like just nothing but trouble. Here we go. And that's out of order. Is anyone familiar with the FS Basecamp? Am I just talking trash here? I don't know. Nothing. Boom. Okay, that's correctly linked. Move that. See, I think my my producer's on vacation and has been for 7 years and didn't exist before that. The Basecamp launch. So there it is. It is September 18th. So that said, any other topics or questions, or shall we call it good? Okay, well then let's call it good at 54 after. I will stick around a few minutes for if people got that message about, oh no, we may have to delay, which is either my calendar blowing a circuit or me blowing a circuit. I'm not sure which one at this point, but it's been a pleasure. Andrew, do you want the honors?
I can subscribe.
Thank you so much. Take care, everyone.